All right. Cecily, thanks for being here. I'm excited to chat with you just briefly. I appreciate giving me some feedback on the coaches development course. I've got a couple of questions for you um, so that other people can kind of get an idea of what to expect out of this experience. So my first question for you is how long have you been a coach, and what is your coaching background?
Yeah, good question. I started coaching. I've been an instructor of various types for a while. I first got into coaching through just group exercise in probably 2013, so over 10 years ago now. And
Huh.
I just did like a AFA group exercise certification. Loved it, loved doing that. And then I got a yoga teacher certification. I started teaching a couple of years later. And then CrossFit, I started coaching CrossFit classes a couple of years after that. But I only did that for a couple of years. So it's been a while since I have regularly coached CrossFit classes, but I probably coached CrossFit for 3 years, 6 or 8 years ago.
Okay. Awesome. Um, Talking about the course in general, what was one of the favorite things that you learned from the coaches development course?
Yeah, I'm I'm kind of a factoids girl, so I think the stuff that I really enjoyed getting was kind of the more obscure, just interesting information that provides a little bit of extra spice to any CrossFit class. And so things like, uh, oh, that it's in the eccentric, not the concentric movement that you get more damage and therefore muscle building capacity. So just fun things like that that stuck in my
Hmm.
brain that will probably percolate out in random moments later on.
Nice. Maybe some of the stuff that is not necessarily forward facing that the clients really know, but stuff that you as a coach are like, wow, that's really good for me to know.
Totally.
In the context of this course, um, do you feel like this was a good thing to take somebody from a beginner or a novice coach into the next stage? Or who do you think that this course would be best for?
Absolutely. I think that having actually done the CrossFit Level 1 certification once before, I felt like it was um, just a really quick overview teaching specifically toward the test, right? And so specifically towards success on the test, which accomplished the goal of passing the exam, but maybe didn't prepare me so well to enter a classroom or a gym space and to look a group of athletes in the eye and be able to run a class, design a lesson plan, run a warm up, teach, see, and correct. And those are all things that the coaches development program definitely taught me how to do.
Cool. So it's not, this course isn't necessarily for somebody who's been coaching regularly for 5 or 6 years. Although you've had some coaching experience, did you find that this was still valuable for you with somebody who's, hey, I've been a group fitness coach for a while, and doing something like this with my coaching experience would potentially enhance my coaching?
100%. As even though I had years of coaching experience and also teaching other forms of fitness, this program absolutely taught me so many new skills. It taught me some new methods of just looking at how workouts are structured, how what makes a cue good, what makes a cue effective, and I think really tightened up a lot of my thinking and also my delivery.
Great. Cool. My last and final question for you, Cecily, is what advice would you give the person who's looking to either become a coach or is starting their journey as a coach, but isn't really sure where to start? Or maybe it's the person that they just completed the L1 and they're like, that was great, but I'm not ready to coach a class. What advice would you give to that person for next steps for their coaching career?
Yeah, something that I have said before to other beginning yoga teachers or CrossFit coaches is that your first is your worst. And so the idea that the first class you teach is you're going to walk out of that gym or that studio and think, well, that was a dumpster fire. But your first is your worst, and your next one will be better than that. And the next one will be better than that. And that's growth mindset. And that's what we learn. That's what we want to teach our athletes, but also that is what I think all coaches need to learn, is that you are not ready on the day that you show up to start. You make yourself ready by doing. So just start.
Yeah. Cool. And a little teaser then maybe for the coaches development course. Speaking of your first is worst, part of this coaches development program is a practical portion. So we know that that is full on the truth that your first is going to be your worst. And so we put you through a controlled progression so that you can see more and more of your coaching experience and with a little bit more of a controlled experience, so that when you get to the floor and it does matter, you're past your first is your worst.
That's so true. That's really true, because I feel like through the coaches development program and through the many practicals that we did and all the practice teaching that we did, I got all my worsts out of the way so that I don't have to subject any paying athletes to all my mishaps and mumbles.
That's great. Cool. Thank you so much, Cecily. I appreciate it. You've been a pleasure to have in class. I'm looking forward to seeing how you get to use this in the future.
Of course. Thanks, Colby.
All right.